here for the spelling. I kept it up there. A lot of the work that I do with clients is on a whiteboard, and Jen started pointing out that I'm very poor at spelling without spell check, so this was a joke for Jen. I didn't fix it. So I guess I'll talk about kind of the story of MAC6 and how we got here. And I mean, it changes every day. If it was yesterday, it would have been different than tomorrow. And you know, what's my job? That's the same thing. It's different every day, but that's part of what makes it awesome. And man, I can like hear myself out of my left ear. It's really weird. So 5 years ago, I was working for a nonprofit with Jen, and it was something. I'm like the last year of millennial, so it was some part of like my birthright. I've got to go work for a nonprofit and get that purpose into my life, and in doing so, really got an inside view of what it's like to work for how a lot of nonprofits are constricted by this mindset that they have to be like a nonprofit. They have to pay people lower wages. They have to justify every dollar that's spent on operations because they're beholden to the people that are fundraising and giving them their funds. And they're really not able to accomplish what they'd truly be able to accomplish if they thought it's more like a business and create the true reach in the purpose of what they're trying to achieve, because they're beholden to this old mindset of what a nonprofit needs to be, and just became a little bit frustrated with that approach. And you know, who cares? It's a tax distinction. What's the difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit? It really is just a tax distinction. You have certain rules you have to follow, but why do we have these mindsets of what a nonprofit has to do, and on the same side, what a for-profit has to do, is capable of, and should intend to do in the world? And we hear a lot of negativity, particularly about, as businesses get larger, the negative ramifications that they can have in the world and to their stakeholders. And we don't get a lot of the storytelling, which is awesome about today, of particularly in early stage companies, the awesome things that people set out to do and that are accomplishing things. And so a conversation with my dad 5 years ago, he's still retired. You'll see him later tonight because he is showing up to things like every day from 8 to however long he stays in the office. But he had sold his business, was looking for something new to do. I was looking for something outside of this nonprofit realm, and we started having this conversation of, let's do something together. We had done some work in real estate investing before, but what do we want to do? Can we do anything together that sounds fun? Let's start investing in early stage companies. All right, that sounds good. We don't really know what we're doing, but that's fine. We'll figure it out. And who do we want to invest in? And we kind of stumbled into this articulation of conscious capitalism. And it brought it home to me of someone's already articulated this viewpoint of the horsepower of a for-profit with the heart of a nonprofit, and tying these two things together and really driving the reach of what a business can do regardless of its tax distinction. Who cares what that is? And having a higher purpose to business than just making money and focusing on that. And paradoxically, that raises the amount of money that you're able to make in the long run. And it's just a long run view of business. Care about all the stakeholders, not just the financial ones. Support all of them, create more value for them, and that'll turn to more profit for you in the long run as well. Have a strong culture for your business where everyone's showing up to do what they love and we're put here to do, not just for a paycheck. And have conscious leadership where you're going to have to make some hard decisions sometimes in the short run, but it's going to make you more successful and drive that vision of what you're trying to do in the long run. So, all right, so we're investing in early stage companies. We've got this philosophy of business of who we're going to go after, at least people that are open to this. We'll start an incubator. It evolved into that, it spiraled into that, I guess. And so we built out a space. We're going to have these companies come in, we're going to invest in them, and we're going to provide help. And so it didn't matter what they needed, what type of help they needed. They needed sales, legal, finance, whatever it was, we will help you. And we said all the way along the line, though, that these companies need help. They're early stage. They don't have all the pieces figured out. They don't have the pieces on their team completed yet. But it's always about the team that's going to make them successful. it's always, always, always about the people. It's not the idea. The idea has to be there enough to have something good that people will pay you for, but it's the team that's going to drive it. And it still, for years, was this sort of gut feel. Have you been there and done that before? Okay, I can trust that. But a gut feel of, do I think you can do it? Are you telling me the things that make sense? Are you showing me that qualitatively I can believe in you, and put some money into this and help support you? And we really just kept going around and around. We had successes and failures, and always it was pinpointed to success or failure based on the team. It was always that. But we started to try and seek out these more quantitative ways to measure that. What's there in the team? How do we assess the people that are there, where there are gaps, where people are either sitting in the right seat or not? How do we assess that and start to have those conversations? And then how do we help develop a operating system and tools around creating traction towards a common vision through the people that are there on this team? So that's where we've ended up today. I skipped a step where we decided to sort of rebrand it to an accelerator, which is really just kind of semantic for incubator. But now, total focus on Leadership Academy for high-performing teams. So that's what we do. We focus on teams. That's the help we bring now. Focus down on what we're good at, what we can provide value at, and what's truly going to drive a company going forward. And we decided very early on that we were going to be a conduit of success for these companies. And why I love things like this are because we didn't want to become the PR agency that is calling ourselves a business support system or an incubator, but really is just sort of pushing our own things out there. We were going to stand on the shoulders of greatness of the companies that we've worked with and talk about them. And so you'll see over at our MAC6 Broadway, we decided that like this week, by the way, so that's new. Advocating capitalism as a force for good. That's been what we do, and building better communities is how we do it. We are a business, we're growing a business, we're still 5 years into it, figuring it out ourselves and growing a financial model, but what we stand for is really what all of you are doing, and advocating the good that can come out of what you guys are doing, and being a mouthpiece for that as opposed to ourselves. And that's what I'm really excited about. Is we said for 4 years that advocating capitalism as a force for good was our why and our purpose, and really started drilling down into that's what we do still. It's advocating capitalism. It's something we do. Why do we do that? And capitalism, true capitalism, not necessarily all of what's going on right now, has lifted more people out of poverty than any other socioeconomic system in the last 200 years. We advocate capitalism as a force for good to elevate humanity and eliminate poverty, and that's our why. We're trying to figure out ways to draw more direct lines to what that means. We're educating ourselves and becoming students of what that means. But it is exciting to me to be able to hear stories of people in our space, people out of our space, people that we're connected with that are growing awesome businesses with purposes that we can talk about to show that's the direct line. Create opportunity for ourselves, create opportunity for others in the world, and it feels awesome to be a part of it. It's awesome being over here. I'm not over here enough, but it's just a privilege to work with all of the companies that are in our spaces. Kent, I was thinking earlier, Julie was wondering where I was when I went to go get markers, and I said, I got to go see the new clean room. And it was the wording that I said that it's always a pleasure for me to see the new things that are going on with you guys, with everyone here. And it's just been an awesome 5 years, and can't wait to see what all of you guys are doing in the next years to come.